Exploring an abandoned warehouse. Sorry if this is a long post, but I needed to share this with someone. There is this abandoned warehouse in the middle of my city. Not in the middle but in the busy part of the city. The reason nobody has done anything about it, is because the warehouse used to be owned by a petroleum company. They used it to store oil, before the city expanded. Now there's a flyover running over it and the property is owned by the city and the railway commission because of the railway line that runs next to it. Anyway, it's just a building that used to be part of a massive complex of warehouses, silos and a factory. Now only this one building remains. A friend and I locate exploring abandoned places, mainly for the experience and to imagine what it would have been like when the places were active and functioning. So we were looking for places to explore and I had known about this location. It is quite close to where we live. So I suggested if we could explore the warehouse. My friend jumped at the chance and we set a date. Saturday morning. We decided to go early in the morning because that area is known for shady things and the nights weren't safe. It also gets busy during the midday. Anywho, we went at around 7 AM, walked over there since it's not too far. When we reached the place, it was messy. Garbage piled up in the corner and the compound wall tagged with graffiti. We had to find a way in. As we walked around we discovered there was no way in from the street. It was just wall all the way down. We had to get in from the railway track. So we walked around and entered the railway tracks. From the railway tracks you can see the flyover that runs over it and an apartment next to the warehouse. This place is like in the middle of all the action yet is in its own bubble lost to time. On the other side of the tracks is army and railway property. We eventually found a brick in the wall that allowed us to enter the place. We had to hop over it and there was an old broken freezer just lying on the other side. So people have come in here before. When we stepped in and I kid you not, I felt this overwhelming sense of dread. Yeah, it sounds cliche as hell, but I just felt something was off. I told my friend this and she just shrugged it off, like it was no big deal. She basically said it's probably because we are trespassing and we could get caught. Inside there were a lot of overgrown poppy plants and wild weeds just growing out of the cement. We had to trek through this brief bit of foliage and once we did we stepped into a compound. The compound was big but I couldn't sense the size of it because a good amount was covered in overgrown wild foliage. But we could see the warehouse building rising over it, in its imposing and dilapidated form. My friend was excited to see this. She pulled out her phone and took some pictures. I looked around and the feeling was just getting worse. I then walked further into the compound and that's when I saw it. On the ground, bones. Like animal bones. It was a whole field of bones just strewn about on the ground. I freaked. I'm a guy who does not believe in superstition, but I do think curses and black magic and the supernatural is a possibility. So when I saw a literal compound full of bones, like skulls, femurs, teeth and whole animal skeletons compounded with a feeling of intense dread and doom. A feeling that I get when someone close to me is about to die. I wanted to get out of there. I told my friend that we needed to leave. She still wanted to explore. She was walking all over the bones and kicking them around. I was watching this and getting more scared. I asked her why there would be a whole bunch of bones here. She said she didn't know and didn't really care. Now she doesn't really believe in anything supernatural. Ghosts don't exist in her mind and curses and black magic are just psychological sleight of hand. TBH, I kind of think the same way but also I don't dismiss the idea that someone can get cursed or a place can be cursed. So for her this is just fun, for me terrifying. I was carefully watching my step trying my best to avoid the bones. She was just trampling all over them. I didn't want to explore further and she did. I somehow convinced her that we needed to leave and she finally conceded realizing I was actually scared for my life. After we left and on the walk back I realized that feeling I got had not gone. I told her this. She said I was probably paranoid. Funny thing, I never mentioned this earlier because I personally think it's a coincidence but there is always that nagging feeling at the back of my mind that it's not. Now for as long as I can remember on some level I have the ability to sense when someone is about to die. Like they can be healthy, young, old or sick. But if they are about to die I can sense it, many times even before they realize. Like it only comes when I'm close to the person physically or interacting with them. But I have to be around and in some kind of contact with them. Basically when I'm with them I can't get the thought of death out of my head. That was the feeling I was getting when I was with her after we left. Mind you, I never got that feeling before we entered the place. No, I instantly got it after we left. I told her this, like I just told her I thought we might be cursed and that one of us is going to die. She as usual made a joke out of it and then semi-seriously said that I wasn't invited to her funeral if she died. But I told her that I was not going back there. She agreed and we went back home. Cut to a few days later, we were planning to watch a movie, when she suddenly cancelled on me because she fell sick. That feeling had not gone, in fact it came back stronger. She jokingly mentioned it was the curse. I just laughed, but at the back of my mind I was wondering if it actually was. Then a few days after that I find out she has been admitted in the hospital. The condition was getting worse. The rest I found out from her parents because she had slipped into a coma shortly after that. The doctors were trying everything, and they couldn't figure out why she wasn't recovering. Then one night I was just sitting on my computer watching videos when I got the feeling again, stronger than ever this time. Like stronger than I had ever got before. Funny thing, no one was around me and I wasn't talking to anyone either. The only thought I had was someone is going to die. I couldn't focus on what I was doing, just the thought of death. I thought I was going to die and the feeling got worse and worse. I tried to fight the feeling and shake it off, but it wouldn't go. Then suddenly, it stopped and all I could feel was sadness. I went to sleep. The next morning, I find out from my parents that my friend had passed away last night in the hospital. I have never been in that warehouse again. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and giving it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think or what you'd like to see next. Don't forget to check out my other videos for more content like this. Exciting new content is coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed. Until next time, stay awesome.